It's so great just to be out here in nature. Pay attention. My topic, be vigilant. Just to observe, to watch, to notice. And, some people are so busy taking selfies, in a sense, that they're never where they are. Or we're too busy planning on where we're going to go and what we're going to get from where we're going to go, or what the problems could be. Or we're contemplating the past and what we could have, should have, or would have done, what we lamented, or just rehashing these old scenarios in the mind. But remember, it's over. It's just in your mind. And when you're vigilant and you can observe and witness, you notice. And I told you, I'm joking, but in a sense, I have the Miss Marple Poirot. We'll add Sherlock Holmes to Jeremy Britt only. Looking for clues, see, as a spiritual sleuth. So it's the Miss Marple, Poirot, and Sherlock school of spiritual sleuthing. And when you notice what's going on, because you're also right there, you feel your feet, on the ground, getting time for, more barefoot work. And now is also a good time. I've also started. And besides in the house, I mean outside, feet on the soil, tuning in, listening. I think Rumi, who was a philosopher, teacher from the East, talked about listening. Really, what would you say, spiritually awakened and knowing persons, they do a lot of listening because they listen to themselves. They listen in the quietness. They actually listen to what other people are saying or doing. It doesn't mean you follow it or you get involved in it. And also as a therapist, as a counselor, teacher, mentor, the work that I do, writer, that sort of thing, when I'm working with someone, I listen. And then I can hear things that they don't even notice, because most of the times we're on automatic. We are saying the same old words again, same old cliches. I remember years ago, I started to notice in my relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend thing that went on, that all of a sudden, after I noticed, the men were always basically saying the same thing, and that we repeated all the time. And a lot of them were cliches from movies or songs. And I love to sing because I like to experience the voice, because the body's actually a musical instrument. And when people talk, I hear songs. And because almost everything people say, or a cliche or a known statement, or we got it from that, is something we've heard over and over again, and it's just an automatic thing. And so then these words, then if we emotionalize them and we feel them, and you sit around crying in your beer, so to speak, about what coulda, shoulda, woulda been, and then your hope of what could be, or now you give up hope, so now you're depressed because all your plans for future happiness you think have been ruined, as if you only have a short little time span that you've been allocated to, and then you're gone, you're dead, you're finished. Yeah, no, none of that's true at all. None of that's true at all. And when you are vigilant, besides listening, and I will tell you, you have to get by yourself. And so many people are afraid to be by themselves, and they've got their phone under their pillow in case somebody texts us or something, and you see that it's a hypnotic trance. And when you're in a hypnotic trance, we don't even notice what we're doing. That means you want to be vigilant as you listen even to what you say. And you pay attention, notice, are you believing your thoughts? Where'd they come from? Who gave those to you? If you follow that thought, you know where it's going to go, because if you even look here, nature, everything here is an idea made manifest. It's a creation. And the creator is divine, and that's who we are. Now, anybody can be an artificial simulator, and that's what we're doing when we enter the computer. You're right now in the cyber world. And I'm not really there, and you're not, there's this image, and there's these sounds and such. But in another sense, I'm not there. And even when you talk on the phone, the other person really isn't there on the phone, and you're not really there on theirs. These are sound vibrations. And when you notice that this universe is manifest as light and sound, and the sound actually is made through the air, through the ether, not the air, the ether. And then you have the oxygen, you have all the elements. But right now you can listen to the sound of the water behind in the waterfall. You see, going over the rocks, and there's a sound, there's a music. And to be vigilant is you're watching, you're noticing, because right now there's stories going on all the time. There's a lot of people want to prepare for major conflict, and that's agitated not by people, but by someone who controls the people, who people believe they're training and education in a school, and who are these teachers, and what are these books that are recommended, and what is the philosophy of the people who design those books, those textbooks, those people who design the curriculum, those people who give the license for something. Right now, you have to have a license to be a coach. Oh, really? That's a made-up thing. And then no, you got to get your certificate over here. Yeah, and who are the people who are giving out the certificates? And all of this is to take you away from your own knowing and your own connection with the divine. It's all knowing. That you are wisdom. That's your nature. So when you're vigilant, you're conscious. And it's a continual job. Because the moment we go unconscious, we're in the program. And then we're programmed. And then we're reacting automatically. When you notice that you get triggered, you want to be grateful for that, because that's going to show you've got a thought form demon that's been asleep that just awakened because its life got threatened as a reality, a thought reality. And that's a belief in competition. That's a belief in there's not enough, in scarcity. That's a belief that you're going to die. It's a belief that it's your stuff. I'm going to own this, and it's mine, and nobody else. And it's like, really? But you also have to know, in being vigilant, when people say, oh, anybody could come here and be whatever they want into my house, really? You invite people into your house. Are they qualified to be in your house? Because then you say, make yourself at home. Have you ever looked at their home? You might not want them to make themselves at home, you see. So you have an inalienable right already. Nobody gives you these. You don't get your rights in the Declaration of Independence. Right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Liberty is not freedom. Life, you are life. It's not something that happens to you. You are an eternal being. And when you run after happiness, what's going to happen? You're never going to get it. And you're always miserable and always disappointed. And it's the next thing is going to be it. And the next thing is going to be it. And finally, I'll be able to be peaceful. So people work their entire life. I know these guys that sit out on their Harleys at this one coffee store that we have in Mount Shasta. It's kind of where a lot of the locals go. And I said one day, you guys, you worked your whole life so you could finally get these Harleys and relax and sit here. And say, yep. I said, wow. So people say, I worked my whole life for this and then I could lose it. It's very interesting, too. People tend to reincarnate in the same groups, or because they choose to or want to. You don't have to. No. You don't have to go along with anybody or anything. And you want to know the truth anyway. You want to know the truth. And so that People even set up things that they think, well, I'll get that in my next life because I'll take birth in that family and that'll be mine. Well, that's interesting. But, it's really not ours. And it doesn't belong. It's in a sense, what am I going to say? What can you control? And that means you could control yourself and your mind. You can then, in a sense, now there are no surprises in that way, and you're not afraid of the future, and you're not afraid of others or anyone, because the people you're afraid of you also hate. So if you're hating someone, you're afraid of them. And what are you afraid of? People generate those fears. They're going to do this to you and that to you. You better get them before they get you. That's what wars are created from. And you always know the same people are controlling all of it because they make money. And they make the money, and you make power, and you use. So, what may I say? This personal enlightenment is a moment-to-moment experience. And that word enlighten is not that you're light. You emanate light. You are a creator God, divine being. And to own and be who you are, be vigilant. And if something isn't working for you, notice the thought. Notice the belief that triggered you. Notice what the concept is. And it'll always come back to the same stuff. And also, one of the things that has caused all of the wars, the slaughter of animals. People don't get that. They really don't get that because it's their tongue. And that's one of the hardest things, according to the Vedas, and you could tell. So it's not about knowledge, you got to believe. When a statement comes to you, then notice. Be vigilant. Is that true? Can you watch it? Can you see it? Can you take it where it goes? And in trusting that, don't be just in that mind and telling you what you think you need because some authority told you that you needed that. So if it's an authority, it's an author. Someone's authoring your script. So are you following scripts? What's the program? What is it that's been set up inside of you that you think that you need to follow and be? You already have arrived. Yes. And you're already evolved. There is no evolution. There right now is called devolution, you see. And it's because it's called ignorance. So as you're vigilant, now you have the power of choice. So be in the moment, be here, get into nature, take the killing out of your life, and stop killing yourself. You are an eternal being. Claim your power. And the great place to get your power is to listen, be in nature, be vigilant. It's now.